How much is a hunter's license really worth? What if I told you just one perk can make it one of the most valuable items in all of anime? And it's not what you might expect. Hello, everyone. As always, I'm that anime theorist, Jordan, the only one who still is waiting for Kurapika to pick up his phone. Hunter x Hunter has to be one of my favorite anime of all time, which features one of the greatest power systems, a beautiful interconnected storytelling, and this guy. Most notably, the hunter's license. Regardless of field or class, everyone flocks to the yearly hunter exams in order to have just a chance at earning the ever-elusive hunter's license and the right to call yourself a hunter. Becoming a hunter alone provides you with immense status and privies you to training to learn superhuman abilities. But if you aren't seeking fame or power, a hunter's license alone can be sold for a significant amount of money. But how much money? Well, we can get two different answers directly from the anime. You can either sell it for 7 lifetimes worth of fun or pawn your license. Gon exemplifies this last method by pawning off his license to get a quick 100 million genin, which, according to the anime, is the max amount that you can claim. But how much is 100 million genin? Well, 150 genin buys you a can of soda. So we could say $1.50 US could match the price of a soda and we could end it all there. After scouring the manga, I found that in chapter 69 revealed the genin exchange rate to be 1 genin equal to 0.9 Japanese yen. Using the day that the chapter was released, April 4th, 2000, to check the value of the yen to USD, I found that $1 USD equals 105.62 yen. Therefore, 150 genin drink equals 135 yen, or $1.28 USD. Well, it wasn't really that much of a difference, but I want to be exact because if you really want to pawn your ratty old hunter's license, now you're only going to get a mere $852,000. But remember, there's another method. You can sell your license to presumably a collector for enough money to spend 7 full lifetimes of fun. If the average upper-class family in Japan makes 9.6 million yen yearly, keep in mind that if we take the average lifespan of a person to be 72 and assume that we received our license at the age of 20, we can assume that we'll have 52 years of fun experience to ourselves and 72 times 6 for the remaining lifetimes, equaling out to a grand total of 484 years. To get 884 years at 9.6 million yen a year to incur 7 full lifetimes of fun, we can assume someone would have to pay 4.65 billion yen or $44 million for a hunter's license. Now hold up, I know what you're thinking. We're not just finished yet, as the real value of a hunter's license does not come from how much you can sell it for, but for how much value you can get out of using it. The privileges of a hunter's license can easily exceed over that $44 million. So let's run through some of these incredible perks.
This card will allow you to enter 90% of the countries that limit immigration, as well as grant you access to 75% of restricted areas in the world.
Amazing.
You may use 95% of public facilities at absolutely no cost. And banks will treat you as if you were a top-rated company.
Now that we know a few fun perks, let's make some money! While there are some helpful abilities, not all can be monetized. Therefore, we will only be discussing those that can, and some additional perks that have been proved by both the manga and the anime. Starting off with the first and most fun ability. Free use of 95% of public facilities, and at first class, no less. I broke it down into 3 of the highest costs of public facilities: public education, healthcare, and transportation. And because we want to see the maximum value of a hunter's license, we'll be talking about facilities of the most expensive nation, the United States of America. Thankfully, as a hunter, we receive all of that for free, so bring on the spending. Let's kick off education. That's right, free college at the University of Virginia. But why the University of Virginia, you might ask? Well, they have the highest public tuition of $47,000 for out-of-state residents. Over 4 years, that equals to $189,000. And if you go for law school, that averages to around $88,000. Over 3 years, that equals out to $226,000, or when you add it all up, $455,000 in schooling alone. Now, keeping in mind the average ownership of a hunter's license will be around 52 years, you could go to law school for all of that. Why? Well, because it's free. Therefore, we could potentially spend up to $4.6 million at law school alone. Take that 7 lifetimes worth of fun. Well, I almost feel ashamed to talk about public health care. Over your lifetime in America, you'll pay $320,000 for health care. Double that if you have a chronic illness. So that only brings our total up to $5.24 million. I know, that's a little uneventful, so let's get grooving with public transportation. Karapika uses it to get train tickets, Gonan Leorio use it to go see Kilua, and we'll be using the most expensive form of public transportation. Plane travel. The most expensive flight travels from New York to Abu Dhabi in first class for a whopping $66,000. Ooh, that's my favorite plane ride. And we'll finish up law school online, so we can fly it 365 days a year for 52 years, equaling out to a whopping $1,252,000,000. Now that seems like a large number, but these last 2 perks are not only uncomfortable and extremely unethical, but they will eclipse the total thus far. Throughout the show, we see hunters, time and time again, entering into impossibly dangerous situations, and in unfortunate circumstances, have to murder their opponent. Or, if you're like Isaka, I guess that's a Tuesday. Thankfully, hunter license owners receive legal immunity for murder, and with the penalty for murder being 30 to life, we'll agree that a full lifetime of lost wages is $4 million. But the real coup d'etat is quite odd. Hunters have the ability to hire criminals on the condition of absolute obedience in exchange for reduced sentencing, or the ability to live if you were on death row. I know. How are criminals going to make you money? Remember earlier when I mentioned that passing a hunter's exam would privy you to learning superhuman abilities after receiving your license? Well, what if I told you you can use those abilities to make money off of your prisoners? These abilities are the result of Nen, or when people harness their aura to achieve a variety of superhuman abilities. Examples of this can include anything from super strength to controlling lightning to creating a massive pocket dimension with multiple rooms, or manipulating large groups of people. I don't know if you see where I'm going with this, so let me break it down. Globally, there are 8.75 million people who are incarcerated. The United States specifically pays private prisons $150 a day per inmate and $100 for public prisons. By undercutting both the government and private prisons at a rate of $95 an inmate, a profit margin would be roughly $4,000 per prisoner. You would still end up making $3.5 billion. Keep in mind, that's over 1 year alone. For an exact lifetime value of a hunter's license, you're going to have to wait until the end. But I know what you're thinking. Where would they live? What kind of abilities would they use? And what about concentration? Well, we can answer all of those and even provide a precedent with Greed Island. Gene, the father of the main character Gon, purchased an island to create a video game in real life using Nen. On this island, they essentially created a beta version of my idea. The island features a few prisoners serving out their sentences as NPCs on Green Island. As long as I have a Nen ability to keep peace, such as an ability that if you break your loyalty to me, you'll explode, if loyalty and infighting are almost guaranteed to stop. Which, the ability is not far-fetched, as loyalty-based and exploding-based abilities are both existing within the verse. And with that, we can finally conclude the lifetime total value of a hunter's license is $183 billion. And this, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary folk and Hisoka, is why people are willing to shell out a mere $800,000. And if you like this video, check out my other recent videos on how fast Toji Fushiguro is and of how Eren can't be committed of war crimes. Thanks for watching, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and subscribe.